What's up, everybody? Once again, it is I, James, coming to you from the Nerdy Mewzings podcast studio. And once again, I am joined by the colossal artist known as Yevgeny Sokolov. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, James. Thanks for having me, man.
And it's good to have you. We have the benefit of getting to catch up with each other pretty much every week on our Uncanny Art-Men streams now, but
Yeah,
never get bored of talking to you, man.
yeah, me too, man. I have a
That's
lot of
great.
fun. Yeah, I love our
Yeah.
Sundays too.
Yeah. Sundays have been awesome. I feel like we have something really special going on there.
Yeah, I agree. And recently, creating that Instagram page for our
Yeah.
Uncanny Art Man, I was like, what? It's like we're official. We got
We're
the
official,
the
dude.
band. We got the band. Yeah,
The team. Yeah.
that's pretty awesome.
It's it's such an eclectic group of people too, because like I feel like all of us, our styles couldn't be more different, which is really neat to see.
Yeah, I agree. We don't have that cookie cutter same thing drawing everybody drawing the same way or painting or whatever. It's everybody's got their own thing going, and we're kind of picking off from each other a little bit, getting inspired,
Yeah.
push each
Yeah.
other a little bit.
I just created some clips from the most recent one because I want to post those on the new Instagram. And it was one of the clips it made was when Ed was asking if he could give me a little advice on the face of Lobo that I was working on. So I
Yeah,
thought, man, how cool is that? Like we're on there, we're open to receiving the feedback of the other people, and I feel like I feel like some of our style is creeping into each other's work. I know your stuff definitely creeps into mine, how you do anatomy, and I really admire how you draw hands too. That's just such a
appreciate
it's a
it.
daunting thing for most artists, isn't it?
It is, and I'm have to agree with that. It's I don't know if how many professionals still have issues with it, but in my in my experience, I every once in a while I get stumped a little bit. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've never drawn this hand position, so I'm trying to make sure nothing looks awkward. Most of the time you can imagine it, but sometimes you just got to look at it. But a lot of them
Yeah.
become a little easier and easier every time.
Now, you use a lot of reference of your own hands if you run into the situation there where you don't have that pose in your mental library, right?
Yeah, it's so much easier than sitting there spending hours and looking up hands or something. You just like, okay, I'm gonna take the camera real quick, phone, click, click, click. There you go. There's the
Yeah.
reference, and just go with
Now
it. This makes it easier.
modify and shrink it to normal human proportion, and
I've run into that problem before too. When
yeah,
I take
yeah,
a picture and then try to draw, I was like, hold on, I need to remember. It is a smaller person, or
yeah.
a lot. Like one time, I used my own hand to draw a female's hand.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
yeah,
holding like a cigarette extender kind of thing, and it was like the spirit, the commission that I did,
right.
and I was like, I just couldn't. I was like, man, I was stumped. I just couldn't. And then when I did my own hand, I'm like, okay, it's lanky enough, but the thing is you got to make sure it's female, thinner fingers and kind of thinner
Yeah,
hands, smaller hands, and you have to keep that in mind.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It wouldn't look quite right with your mitts.
No, yeah, I
And
can imagine.
so a couple of things. We would be remiss to assume that everybody has watched or listened to the first time you were on the podcast. So just in case the audience listening or watching right now does not realize your stature, Yevgeny, height,
I'm 6'10",
yeah, and weight. You're not a small guy. You're
but
a muscular guy.
about 290,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
Yevgeny, it's why I have to balance things out and wear this shirt to remind him, that I'm the alpha male here, because I'm a mere 6'5", So this is like for me very rare to have a guest on here taller than me. when
Hey,
you
it's
go
all
to
right. On camera, we'll
cons,
look about the same.
yeah, yeah. When you go to cons, are people surprised? Do a lot of them not realize your stature?
When I went to what's that, OAX in
Yeah,
February, and I got to meet some of the guys that I interact with. They've never really seen me, but maybe on camera or something, and
yeah.
didn't recognize me at first. So when, didn't know if it was me, and
They
then it's
say,
like,
"Don't
man,
hurt
you
me,
are big.
sir.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
hurt
like
me."
yeah, you are big. He said. It's like, I
Yeah.
remember Dave, West Coast Dave, is like didn't realize
Yep.
that was me. He's like, dang, okay. And then when I met Aranga, um, he he's a he's not a very tall fella, so
Right.
he really was like, man. So I was sitting down. I think I was sitting down when I first introduced him. Then I stood up. He's like, holy crap.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
it's
funny.
fun. It's fun.
I don't know your structure, but me, like, I'm a lot of leg and I have a kind of a shorter, more muscular, torso. It's funny because when my wife and I are sitting down, like we're the same height.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then when I stand
I
up,
think
people are like, "Oh,
Yeah, I think I have the same problem with. Well, my wife is 5'10", so she's not
okay."
short by any means. So, but when we
Yeah,
sit, to, when we
my wife's
sit,
too. She's like 5'9", 5'10".
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we sit, yeah, it's kind of like about almost same height. Yeah.
It's like that movie, the movie trope where the guy stands up out of the booth and then they realize how big he is. Uh-oh. Better be
Yeah.
respectful to
Takes me back
Sir
to the
Sokolov, as
yeah,
you're called a lot of times on the
yeah, on the
art
podcast.
streams.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a high tower in Police Academy. I remember
Yes.
he
I love
stands
it.
up and the guy's like, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it
I
keeps
get that.
going.
I get that. Yeah, it's fun.
Now, speaking of, things people may not realize or may not know, again, giving the benefit of the doubt to the current audience. And if you guys haven't listened to the first episode or watched the first episode that Yev was on with me, make sure you guys check that out because we cover a lot of this stuff. But why don't we let everybody know your background in art and also just kind of like a Cliff Notes version, shorter
Okay.
version, and then how you made this transition into the professional comic work.
Yeah, I started drawing when I was very young, very young. I was aware that I really liked art, so um, and earliest memories was probably kindergarten. I was just nonstop sitting there drawing. So my parents never, you know, stopped me from that. They really encouraged it all the time. So then sports took over, basketball at 14, and then kind of took off, and I took a break. I sketched,
Yeah.
yeah, I sketched, took sketchbook here and there, but art career kind of was, nowhere. But ended up in America. I went to college, in college at Arkansas State University, and got a bachelor's degree in studio art. That's what I really kind of dedicated more time, and learning a lot of different things in painting and in techniques. And so I was a fine artist till my late 30s. And right around the COVID time, the shutdowns and all that, and I was, since I've been teaching high school art, we shut down too, and I was drawing bodybuilders for about good portion of the 2019 2020 school year. And at home, I was just nothing to do. I was just drawing. But
Yeah.
I always had in the back of my mind, I wanted to do comics. I always wanted to, and then but I always look at my drawings and I was like, it's just not ready. Is that personally, I was just like, I would not put that in the book or anything like that. And finally, after drawing all those bodybuilders, finding David Finch's channel, picking up some of his little short study, like educational videos where he tell you how to, draw the gesture things, do this, pose that. And I kind of, since I already knew anatomy and all that, I just needed the comic approach. What to do when you do the comic thing. So I dedicated hours a day. So I was like, okay, this is it. This, I have time. I'm doing this. So in 2020 or so is when I started drawing more comics. And that summer, I've gotten very comfortable. So I started posting things on Instagram almost daily. Um, that thing kind of blew up, the Instagram. But I was still not where I felt like I needed to be yet. And it took me a few years. And I started inking in 21. That was the first time I actually started professionally trying to ink my work. And
Because you've been doing, at that point, you were mainly painting, right?
that was just drawing and painting. Yeah,
Yeah,
charcoal
drawing and
pastel
painting.
drawings, pencil
Yeah.
drawings, and watercolor painting most of it. And then I was in it. I was in it. I was just the 22, kind of started growing a little bit more. I still didn't get any gigs, and I understand because I'm looking back and I'm just like, no, still
Hmm.
I'm okay. I'm okay, but I'm not where I feel like I was fast enough or great enough to, be comfortable picking up starting the book or something. And then 23, that's when I got to get a little bit um, much more comfortable, and then I started doing some in 24. I think it's 24 when I started doing some indie comic covers. Um, but I got some contacted. Instagram is the best place to find me. So if you want to get a commission or pick up a drawing I already done or something like that, just DM me there. And
Yeah.
then I contacted on a whim. I was like, I'm going to contact Eric from Ripperverse, and I was like, hey, just throw my name in the hat. If you guys have any work for me, just let me know. And about a year later, in 25, he's like, can't believe I just seen this message. And he said it must have been one of those requests. So and my work by 24 gotten much. I mean, by 25 gotten much better. So it's about where I am now, but slightly lower, I think, quality. But now it's much better. And then we got together and started doing covers for Ripperverse. And then 26, I've done about 8 of them.
That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, it's been fun. Um, and I'm trying to do take every work serious, and I'm working on my own little project, my own book, and a friend of mine who I've been drawing stuff for since 23, he's from Vegas. He wrote his own story, and I'm kind of working with him.
Oh,
It's
very
it's good.
cool.
It's a long process and on the hush hush, and it's his kind of a maybe magnum opus. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
it's one of his things that he's really really passionate about this project, and I'm trying to find more time now to because we took some hiatus, um, and things like that, and that's happening, and I'm trying to keep it all together and try to try to spend time on commissions and working on
Oh
my
man.
own stuff and trying to kind of pull myself in all the different directions, but keep my head level so I don't get too stressed out.
And you're still teaching.
And yeah, 20 years now. Yeah, day job.
Yeah. Getting
But luckily in
pulled
the summer
every
I don't have
different
to do
way.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
in
but
summer
that
I don't
just
have to
means
do it. So
it doesn't mean you get to relax in the summer though. That means you're
no.
catching up.
Yeah, catching up and helping my wife with coaching the volleyball team, doing some
Yeah.
strength conditioning there, and just it's life, But I'm getting faster in the studio, getting better a little bit at this, and it helps. It helps.
Now that brings up a couple of questions I want to ask you. One, when you were talking about making the transition from the fine art to more comic style, and you're looking at Finch's stuff and his tutorials and everything, because you already had a lot of the fundamentals and the anatomy down, like you were talking about. What was the biggest hurdle, or what do you think is the biggest difference between comic art and fine art? Like, what was it that you had to somewhat change to fit into that mold of, you know, the world of comic book style art?
The biggest one, I'll probably say that it is the biggest one. Probably will be forever my answer to that. Between fine arts and comic books, biggest difference is you can't uh, kind of spend time and look up reference for every single pose, for every single thing you're drawing. So you have to
Yeah.
pull it out of your head. So you have to build callus, or basically memory, in your head and your hands, how to put together a scene, a simple, you know, kitchen table, kitchen, all that stuff, or like an outdoor scene with the buildings and things like that. You can't necessarily spend, and if especially you're doing traditionally, so you have to use your head, you have to use your imagination, and you have to make sure it looks right. That was the hardest thing I had to learn, and that's what it took
Mm,
me some years to polish, and so many hours a day drawing.
yeah.
Because if you don't build that up, you're going to be either slower or much slower to where you won't be able to be hireable at the another level, which I'm not. I'm not
Mm,
doing pages for anybody yet. Um,
yet.
yeah, but it's one of those things that in fine arts, there's your figure, draw that. There's your still life, look at it, draw that. You always have a reference. You always drawing something you see. Unless, of course, you're an abstract artist, then there's a thought process there, and
Hmm.
colors and composition. You have to make sure. I mean, composition is also in everything else too, but in in comics, you have to do all that, consider the composition, values, and all that out of your head most of the time. And that was the hardest
Yeah.
transition.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, building that visual library takes time. Like you have to have so many miles put in on, you know, building a figure straight out of your head or building a scene straight out of your head. And a lot of that does require practicing from reference on those things, but you eventually you build that visual library to where you're able to pull more and more things from your head without having to look at reference. But it takes a long time to get there, doesn't it?
It does, and if I have given advice to anybody, it's just draw. You got to draw a lot. You can't ignore building your callus.
Yeah.
You got to spend. Yeah, I mean, it took me years. It took me, and
And if you're serious about being in comics, draw everything,
yes,
because you
everything.
never know what the commission or what the scene is going to require. It's not going to be just the fun stuff that you want to draw. Like you and me, Yev, I know we like drawing big, jacked, vascular,
Yeah.
muscle bound characters and stuff, but
Yes.
you got to be able to draw normal people, skinny people, kids. You
You
got
have
to
to draw
know
that.
what a cell phone looks like, a computer
Hmm.
monitor, a building, like
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is,
Especially
yeah.
especially being traditional, because there, if you're digital, there's some tools and some tricks and things to streamlining that, but yeah, being a traditional guy, like it's a lot of work.
It is. It is. And if you if you mess up a page you know, beyond saving, you have to restart everything. So
Yeah.
you got to keep that in mind too. So don't ink anything until you really got your pencils down right. Um,
Yeah, I've seen you get pretty far on some pieces and take the axe to it and rip it up.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
it is one of those things that subconsciously or something. I'm like, okay, and I think it's due to me not thinking too much. So sometimes I draw mindlessly, just start
Hmm.
drawing without considering composition, where the person's standing, what's going on there, and it gets away from me. Um, and most of the time, I'll have in my head what's happening. I'll plan it more, and I will rarely tear that up. So
Hmm.
a lot of thumbnails help.
Would you say though that when you do get a little deeper into a piece that you do end up eventually scrapping that process was almost necessary to unlock what you needed to get out of the way to do the better version of that piece? Because I know you've told me a lot of times, like, or pretty much all the time, it ends up something way better than what you had initially done when you do decide. Because guys listening or watching, all of you out there, I've watched this man do several beautiful pieces, and he'll be like, it's just not right. And he'll like rip it right on camera when we're streaming, and all of us are dying. We're like, no, yeah, mail it to me.
He was like I did with the couple of Lobos. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they were
but
beautiful, but
he,
you were just seeing like
I just
something, it just wasn't there, right?
no, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't find it appealing to where I could have saved it. I was like, yeah, it would look good now, but and in the end, the last one, I was like, I was really happy with it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's one of those things. Yeah, you got to warm up a little bit sometimes.
well, and being willing to put yourself out there and make the mistakes and go
Yeah,
through that process and then scrap it. Like I feel like there's something to that, to where it is, you know, you're getting out the bad drawings. I think it was Mark
yeah,
Silvestri said that you're gonna
yeah.
not like 98% of the stuff that you do, but then every now and again you're gonna have a couple of percent where it just like hits just right.
I agree. I agree. It's definitely one of those processes that a lot of times I find myself if I spend half an hour before a stream or um and sometimes it takes longer, but I'll sit there and I'll warm up because I'm working on commission or something like that, and I'm trying to get down the poses, the figure, the how the how they're gonna stand, what works, what doesn't work, and the more I draw it, the more I start kind of sifting out the bad stuff and start finding, oh man, this right here looked better. So this was a better pose for this person, but then this one
Right.
is better on this one, and then put
Maybe
it all
pulling
together,
pieces,
pulling
from
pieces.
one, putting it in
Yeah,
the other. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
in
Cause
the
you
end, it
might
just
have
works
that
out.
one thing in the scrap drawing that you really liked. Right.
That's it. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it comes out golden most of the time, but it's like, yeah, this works better. But I have to spend some time when it's a fresh piece of art, of something I'm doing, some new, some starting off. Yeah, it takes some planning. You got to plan. uh Thinking a lot. I used to think, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna start, I'm just, and sometimes rare occasion it works. I did the Lobo piece a long time ago. Sold it to, but it was you couldn't see his arms, they run off the
Hmm.
page kind of like this, but
Yeah. I
you can
remember
see
that one.
you can see the chains and all that. And it's just a really close up of him with a big old funky hair. I mean,
Yeah.
it came out so good, the abs, everything just came out so good, but I didn't plan on it, I didn't sketch prelim for it. I just like, you know what, I'm gonna just start drawing his head, and in
Yeah.
the end it turned out. But it's rare it just comes out the way you kind of really like it.
Yeah. That's the exception, not the norm. Right.
Yeah, it is. It is. If you if you get into delving into all these pages, panels, and all that, planning, you got to plan
Hmm.
it.
Now, when we do the Uncanny Art-Men streams, and you also stream, and a lot of times will, make yourself available for people to ask questions and teach certain aspects of drawing, which is incredibly valuable. I encourage everybody to watch your streams or watch the Uncanny Art-Men streams, because we do make ourselves available to give advice and try to help. With that, what do you find the biggest hindrance that up and coming artists have in their approach? Meaning, like, I feel that a lot of people say they want to be critiqued harshly, or have the mistakes pointed out, but I feel a lot of times it gets said, and you'll show them what to do, but then they don't hear all of it or don't apply it, or they hear what the parts they want to hear, like maybe the things you told them was good about their
Yeah,
art, and then
yeah,
that's the only thing that sticks. Like, oh,
it does
Yevgeny
happen.
said I draw good, whatever. It's like, yeah, but he also told you needed to work on these 10 other things that were
Yeah,
horrible, right?
yeah, and I agree. I agree. They do um, have that tendency where they hear the good thing and the bad thing. I'll work on it later. Kind of. A lot of times they kind of resort back to the same techniques and same
Hmm.
approach. And I try to teach my students in school all the time that, do not start drawing. tiny detail outline, the
Mm,
head right off as like loosely placed. Where is going to be the figure, the big mass of the body, the legs? How's that going to go? Because if you don't plan it and then you try to draw this whole portrait and so on and so forth, kind of like you can't have a good drawing if you're going to just tediously draw every detail. But a lot of times, I feel like, I don't know, the younger comic book artists, I just hope that they take all those things and actually work on them and fix problems they have, and
yeah,
not go on thinking like I'm ready for the big time, and their work still looks like crud. So
right.
I hope they don't get discouraged where you being told, you've been told several times you need to work on this, you haven't, then you go to a pro or an editor and they said, no dude, no, there's no way, and then
Yeah.
you get upset. Don't do that.
Or, and I feel like it's tough because, many pros, I think they've gotten very careful about how they critique, in that I think nowadays some of them might be a little too nice and say like, oh, this is really good. You're going to be somewhere
Yeah.
someday, and maybe give them a couple little things without really pointing out like, hey,
Hmm.
there's like no structure here. Like there's no,
Yeah.
your perspective's off. The anatomy's completely
Hmm.
wrong. Like, yeah, it looks cool. It has a style, but all of these things are wrong. That style is like, you know, me going and putting paint on a totaled car that's just rolled and has dents all over it. And it was like, oh, but I
Yeah.
put new paint on it. It looks great. It's like, no,
Yeah.
all these things are wrong. So I think it's tough because I think because so many people that ask for a critique can't take an honest critique and get upset,
Yeah.
it's influenced the creators at cons. They don't want to deal with somebody getting upset. So they'll tell them a lot of
Yeah.
things that are good and maybe not point out
Yeah.
how
And
structurally wrong it is or how fundamentally unsound
I
the art is.
I am with you there. I'm with you there. I think there's a little bit of a kind of a soft critiques, where they're, oh, there's this good stuff you have going on, but they don't even talk about the bad, or they'll point it
Hmm.
out. And watching some of the David Finch critiques that he's done on his channel, um, it's nice to actually hear him, because he I feel like Dave is very nice and blunt about it, because
He is, but
he
it's
just,
balance. It's
it is
balanced
it
though.
is balanced. And then I've seen some guys who he critiqued on there, and I'm like, how's this guy not being published yet? Because that work was insanely good.
Yeah.
I mean, the from technique point of view and the structure and everything of the pages, it was just, I was like, this guy can work already. And then some of them I'm just like, yeah, I agree. And Dave does kind of, let him down easy. Um, and I mean, you don't need to, scream at them. You just need to tell him. It's like, but he tells them though, you're not ready yet. You need to
Yeah.
work on this and this and this, and I think you can get there. That's how, I mean, that's how you kind of put it. But I feel like sometimes it's just, you will get some folks who might get to the point where like, but tell me what I want to hear.
Yes.
Like, come on now.
Yeah.
I was like, we
Yeah.
can't do
And
that.
I feel that another big hindrance for aspiring artists is wanting to have a style. They care too much about their style when the fundamentals are wrong. And it's like, yeah, you have a quote unquote style, like a look you're going for, but it's not going to look as great as it could if everything else was in alignment with it and everything was proportionally, structurally, the form was there, the lighting is correct, the perspective is correct. Like that's what's going to really, combine to become your style one day.
Yeah, yeah, and it's what's cool sometimes in the dramatic sense of the art, like we make it look dramatic. So we're gonna make the lighting there, or let's put the lighting here. But you know what? you can't learn that unless you actually get critiqued and
Yeah.
it had been pointed out. Even in my age now, I mean, I'm still learning things. I because in comics and fine arts, that's what I was going to get to, is that comics and fine arts, you may think, oh, it's about the same. It's about the same. You can just paint it this way. You can just draw it this way. But in the end, you start looking at it, and it's like, how do you make it look cooler? Well, you got to make sure that sometimes the lighting works for you differently than it is in fine arts. You will see,
Mhm.
yeah, and I've noticed that, and I actually had a discussion with Eric Grove at the OAX about it. He said, make your work a little more dramatic. He's like, just to move your light source down a little bit instead of too much from the top. And
Right.
you know what? It makes a whole lot of difference.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're still learning.
I feel like it's such a thing where you're never, nobody's going to be perfect. Like everybody reaches an elite, there's people that reach an elite level, but all of those guys that I know at that elite level that you or I look at and are like, they're infallible and everything they put out is perfect. Like all of those guys that I know, they're continually trying to get better and continually practicing. Like look at Steve Rude. He's constantly doing
The man,
studies and
man's nonstop. Yeah, he's
yeah,
painting.
and
I've
he's
been
a
been watching it too.
modern master as far as I'm concerned.
Hmm.
And it's like this guy is, in his mid to late 60s and he's
Yeah,
constantly practicing, constantly trying to
painting,
evolve.
drawing. Yes, he's definitely evolving, and his
Yeah.
work looks wonderful. I mean, I've seen some, and I'm not just saying that because he's also a tall fella. I'm saying that
Right.
because
Right.
he's been doing this for a long time. His work looks great.
Yeah.
So
It
I
just
like
goes
it.
to show that it's never done. Like you should always be in learning or teaching. I always talk about uh, approaching the subject with a child's mind.
Yeah.
The young child is so receptive to receiving the information, and I feel like a lot of people approach it in the sense that they listen, but they're not hearing, or they're hearing the things that they want to hear. Right.
Yeah.
So I think it's if approaching it like with no preconceived notions, nothing,
Mhm.
no barrier there to prevent you from taking the information and utilizing it
Yeah.
and putting it
I
into
agree.
practice.
Yes. Yes. I agree. It's one thing I've learned a long time ago is this: when you're receiving that critique, you take the information you didn't know and just combine it with it, and just you don't discard this. You already know the things you already do know. You just kind of put them together. So always try to save that in your brain, that some of the new stuff that you're receiving, if you haven't heard it especially, and the stuff, if that stuff is being repeated, that you be constantly hearing it, that means there's something you need to work on.
Yeah.
That one thing that they keep repeating.
Standing out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I find that kind of the last thing I wanted to touch on in regard to all of this is I see like, and let me preface this by saying, guys, like I'm not anywhere near like Yevgeny's level or 98% of the people out there's level in my art, but I have studied comic book art for a very long time. And I do have an eye for a lot of this stuff, even if I can't portray it in my own work the way that I want to. I feel that I see a lot of like brand new or beginner up and coming artists too quick to want to put out finished pieces. And it's like you were saying with your students, they're wanting to go in and put detail and do all of this when they haven't really fleshed out the rest of the drawing.
Yes.
And I feel like getting too much into like, look at this piece I did. I
Mhm.
finished this piece. It's like, yeah, what would happen if you took more time in the earlier stages and
Yeah.
caught the mistakes and things instead of
Hmm.
just trying to put out like finished piece after finished piece
Hmm.
to be able to show your style or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, don't you think would you say that there's more value in doing like studies and things like this and having that balance of like getting it to a certain point before moving on to the finalization?
I completely agree with that. You've got to study every single aspect of it. You have to, and sometimes when you have downtime, I still do it. I still fill up some pages of different things I'm drawing. But you have to do it, otherwise you will not stay at the good level that you're already on, or you will not move up further to where you improved and make things look effortless. That's how things look so effortless with these pros, that when you watch them do sketches or at the cons, and you're like, wow, Stephen Platt, do you see this head? The head of Moon Knight or whoever,
Right.
Well, yeah, so many years of practice, it makes it look effortless now.
Yeah, he's drawn that.
Practice.
He's drawn that angle of the head tens of thousands of times or more.
Correct.
Like the visual library is locked in. Like he just has to flesh it out.
Yep, put it down on paper. That's it. And it's I still have my full sheet of reference of hands that I did of different artists from different pages for different books, and I do that periodically. That's I meant to do some head studies, but it's just one of those things you just can't help yourself. You gotta like copy some of the masters, even though they say cliche. I find that cliche sometimes. It's like, well, so why would I, copy other masters? Well, it's because, comics have certain style to them, have certain, I don't know, je ne sais quoi, I guess. That you have to kind of find your own way of drawing certain things in the comics. But in the end, it's going to be in comics, You still have to draw it proportionally. You still have to draw it, a certain way. So
now, we have our own community of, fellow artists we touched on a little bit earlier with the Uncanny Art-Men and getting on and drawing together every Sunday and everything. And, kind of like practicing and putting these miles in and pulling from each other's work and all of this. Do you think that's something important that maybe aspiring up and coming artists should do, is like find a group to get in with, like other aspiring people, and kind of, show each other what you're working on, have like that sense of community instead of trying to just fly solo and do it all on your own?
Oh yeah, it's you got to do it. It's not, not necessarily have to, but it makes it easier for you to stay motivated. Many times I don't have a fellow artists or friends that I've went to college with that's in my town. So every once in a while I'll drive back, to my college town that I, went to school, and hang out with some friends that I have there, and we paint together every once in a while, on rare occasion. And that used to kind of give me the back to kind of artistic juices flowing back to like, oh, I'm going to go back and I'm going to work on this piece or that piece.
It's like a recharge, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And with comics, it's even harder to find that community of actual artists. You don't have most of you seem to be living over in the West Coast, guys, Washington or California.
A lot of people, yeah.
Some East Coast, of course, but it's one of those things that's kind of, I'm telling you, it helps you kind of get your mindset onto like, yeah, I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna draw this. I'm gonna work on that. It kind of recharges you. I feel like that's what it does.
Yeah, and I think there's got to be an element of like, how do I put this? If your level is similar to the other people you're working with, it's a little more, you can get in that zone of continuing to help each other improve. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're somebody new and then you're looking to Finch or, like that's the bar, it seems so far unattainable.
Yeah.
But if you and your friends are kind of on the similar level, and then you watch this guy get a little better, and then you're like, I got to catch up with him. Boom, boom, boom. Like it's more attainable and more realistic and less daunting So I think that probably is a good, little tip of getting in with people of a similar level or just slightly above you, and like pushing each other to
Yeah.
reach that ultimate goal of being on the level of you know, a Finch or a Jim Lee or whoever, right?
Yes. It does. It does. It does. And but if you don't have anybody that you can hang out with, get on the stream if you can, get together on like we do, via the technology.
Yeah,
And you can sit there, chat, hang out, or do do it yourself. Do it yourself. Try to build that work ethic, where
right.
you can work anywhere at any time and just on your own. That's what I heard at that OAX is that everybody just keep telling us, like, man, you definitely have some great work ethic. Anytime I see you, and we're not at the con, I was like, you sitting over there in the lobby drawing. I was like,
Yeah.
that's just what I do. That's I can't help it.
Well,
I got to draw.
and there's no secret to, I mean, like it's proven if you're drawing every day and you're taking the right approach, you're going to improve. You're going to get
Exactly.
faster.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to fix mistakes. You're going to be able to spot mistakes you couldn't see
Mm-hmm.
before. Like, our friend of the pod, Todd Beats, he's a great example of that. This guy like literally put himself out there online and was showing the process of going from, where he was at, drawing every day, and then showing the progression, and like, look where he's at now. But that's that
Yeah.
dedication and crazy work ethic that
Yep.
most people
Hours,
aspire
hours.
to.
Yep. There's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
We know he spent those sometimes deep into the night.
Yeah. And he's always like, every time my phone goes off, it's Todd Beats going live, drawing a sketch cover or a commission or,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's no coincidence that he's gotten way faster too,
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
he's building that muscle memory.
Hmm. Yeah. The more you do it, the faster you get, and it's a guarantee. If you draw on the same character more, you'll get to the point where you're just much faster at drawing that, or a
Yeah.
certain angle, you can draw it faster. Um, but yeah, it's just don't be discouraged if you're drawing something new and it's not turning out as fast as you usually do. It's just because even for professionals, we got to sketch it out a few times just to get used to what the character is going to look like. So it's
Yeah.
not it's not uncommon.
And remember the old Joe Kubert advice: if it looks wrong, it is wrong.
Yeah,
It's-
that's a good advice.
something looks off about it,
Yeah,
like it's
change it.
off. You may
Yeah.
not know why it looks off to you,
Hmm.
and you might have to, ask somebody. Like I've asked you before, like, yeah, this eye doesn't look right, I don't know what it is. You're like, oh, you'll figure it out. Like, work through
Yeah.
the process. But
Yeah, get back through it. Yeah, just to try a different approach. There are several of them.
yeah,
You find another. You find one. Maybe make it more
well,
vague.
yeah. Well, and we live in a world where we have so much access to information
Hmm.
and all these connectivity with other artists and being able to interact. And that's what I love so much about the live streams is, people come in and they're asking us things, and we all kind of have our take on what we would do or how we would do it. And we're happy to give people the advice, aren't we?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it doesn't cost anything. Just ask a question.
Sometimes applying the advice to myself is the hardest part, though. I'm great at giving the advice. Doing
Yeah,
it in our
I,
own work is the whole other
yeah,
ball game.
yeah. Sometimes I find myself doing the same and skipping a step or two.
Now, I wanted to ask, we touched on this message to Eric over at Ripperverse back in 2024. He didn't see it till 2025, and then he's like, let's go. And you've been being put to work ever since, I feel.
Yeah, one of those months was very busy. think I had done like 4 covers in a month. Um,
Yeah.
may have been 6 in a month and a half. I think that's what I counted. It was just one after another. And I remember the announcement that said they're going to be busy putting out in the season, putting out a lot of books and stuff. So I was like, oh boy, exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That had to be
I like challenges.
pretty surreal for you. Because you've done, things like more on indie type of books and things, but
Hmm.
as far as like something more of this level of published work, like that was pretty much the big break for you in that, right?
I I would say that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that a lot of people collect and read, and it's a publisher, so it's definitely that definitely gave me that first big break. Yeah. All the other ones that I was working with is Fate 68 Comics, and they're doing some good things, and but mostly Kickstarter, and then Monty Moore Arts, and they're doing a lot of Kickstarter things. So it was a lot of so many different fun experiences throughout that whole process, and then it kind of got me ready for Ripperverse, and then boom, here I go.
Yeah, and you haven't looked back. keep getting, keep getting more work. I'm sure there's stuff you can't talk about, but the stuff that's been released has been amazing.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, there's one cover that still haven't been I don't think announced yet.
Now, are you going to be getting copies of all the ones that you've done once they're published?
I think I pre-ordered. I need to look through with what I pre-ordered, but I think I should be getting some. Yeah.
That's amazing. You'd be hopefully selling some of those, maybe remarked or something on your website or on your Instagram.
I don't know if I'm gonna get that many copies.
Just keeping them for yourself.
I just ordering me one each just to
Okay.
have, and if I get sent some kind of comps, then yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah, I would think they would probably send you some kind of comps, hopefully. That would be
I hope
really
so.
cool.
I'm just not sure when they're all coming out, so I was just like, when they if they come in, they come in.
Now, just so everybody tuned in knows, like it's a very rare to get cover work right out the gate. Like this is the more higher paying job in comics. Is why a lot of artists strictly focus on getting cover gigs, but it's rare, especially as somebody who's so new to the industry as yourself, to be on covers right away. Did that surprise you? Were you thinking,
Yeah,
okay, so
yeah.
were you
It was
thinking
kind of
more?
unexpected.
Were you thinking more you were gonna go in the normal route and get like a little backup story in a book or something, and they would end up that way? Or what was
That's
kind of your goal in that, in your entering into the professional comic book work? Were you
what.
thinking it was gonna be that standard path?
Yeah, I thought of some kind of short story at the end, or some kind of anything but covers. I was thinking, and I was ready for it. I want to do pages, and I've been doing a lot of samples, and I'm working on my own story. I did a short story myself, penciled it, and then did some little auto practice. I've been doing that on and off since 23, kind of doing some pages here and there. But yeah, that's how I thought I'm gonna break in, as the doing some panels and the pages, and the interior work. And I kind of pride myself onto doing going above and beyond to make it look good, really good, to where if somebody picks up the book and they're reading it through it, and they actually, if they're there for art, they really like the art. And if they're there for story, the story is great, hopefully. So that's one of those things that I was thinking, yeah, let's do interiors. But covers, I'm happy with
Yeah,
that.
you're not gonna say no to that, right?
No, no, no.
Now, on top of all of that, you're still doing quite a few commissions as well.
Yes. There's one behind me over there. That's kind of a large one.
The
Um,
giant one.
the giant one that yeah, I'm going to try to knock it out by fall, I'm sure. Hopefully by the end of August. It's got to be painted though, so it's gonna be fun. Just just about
Covers,
just about 36
commissions.
characters in there. It's all right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, only 36, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Now, do you kind of keep your commissions open and just let people know it's going to be a wait, or have you shut your list
Yeah,
down for now?
yeah, I kind of do it that way. I keep it open.
Okay.
It's just I'm not taking anything bigger than 11 by 17 at this point. Um, yeah, I just have a couple of big ones. I have a 19 by 24 to ink, a big piece, and the large 22 by 30 over there that's need to be painted. So I can't fit in anything larger than 11 by 17 here and there. So it gives me a break from the larger pieces, and that's what I like. But at least they don't take as much out of my time.
Right. And do you do sketch covers for people as well if they request a sketch cover? And because I,
Yeah,
I know I saw you stock up on those sketch covers when they come out.
yeah, I started doing that a little bit. I'm planning on doing a first con, so I decided to start doing some buying some blank sketch covers, so I'll have some available at the con. It's going to be at Cape Girardeau, Missouri, somewhere in November, I think. And otherwise, yeah, if anybody, I've had clients ship me their like very exclusive one and I don't know
Oh
200,
man.
some blanks that don't,
Yeah.
I've never seen in my life. And I've done those before. And if you want to, they want to ship me their cover, I'll do it and ship it back. Yeah, I'm open for that as well.
How do you not buckle under that pressure of putting lines on a 1 out of 200
Here,
exclusive?
I approach it like I don't know how my ceramics professor always told me it's just mud. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you and it's just it's kind of like but in this case I already have enough built up where if something needs to be fixed I have a way.
Yeah.
So I don't I'm trying I don't shy away from a challenge or like worry about messing some things up.
There's
So
always white paint, right?
there's always Posca markers and
Yeah.
paint. I've used acrylics on it. Yeah, I've used acrylics on covers before too. So it's all good.
See, that was a happy accident. I meant to do that.
Yeah.
Well, Yev, as we start to approach the end here, is there anything that people should be on the lookout for? I mean, you got the Ripperverse covers. You're working on your secret stories that, you haven't even let your buddies really see too much of what you're working on there.
Just yeah. Hopefully, guys, if you guys near Cape Girardeau, Missouri in November, you can come by and see me at the con. Stop by. And other than that, I'm just busy working on covers and in the commissions. I mean, and hopefully more Ripperverse covers. And other than that, and just you know, contact me on Instagram if you're looking to get any of my work, or go to the CAF, Comic Art Fans. And I have a gallery there. Just shows you everything that I have available.
Yeah, let everybody know your Instagram so they can check it out. I'll put it in the description as well.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. It's Yevgeny _Sokolov_art. And that's the best way to contact me. It's I'll look at some requests. I'll look at requests and messages as well. So it's not a big deal. I'll if you want to contact me, that's the way.
You don't miss the ones that it hides from us, huh?
Yeah.
I have to check every now and again. I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
why did it
Uh,
hide that one?
yeah. So, I mean,
Like,
it's sometimes it's a legitimate message and usually like from a legitimate contact. So it's getting
yeah,
easier and easier to read the ones that are all fake stuff. So
yeah, there's a lot of those too.
yeah, sadly.
Awesome, Yev. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me today, man. It's always good to hang out with you. I'm blessed to get to hang out with you weekly, and we have our offline chats and everything, but I always value our time together, and I know how busy you are, so I really appreciate you taking the time today.
And me too, my friend. I really appreciate you having me here. Thank you.
My pleasure. Well, hang out with me for a moment here while I talk to everybody listening and watching. I want to thank my Patreon members, Mr. Brandon Paul, known as B. Paul Art. We have Michael Gardner, known as It's Me, Mike G. Both of them on Instagram. Check them out. They're awesome supporters of the podcast. If you want to be like them and support the podcast for only $5 a month, you can get access to each week's episode, including this one, up to 48 hours early, plus some bonus perks, getting a shout out on here and everything. So make sure you check out patreon.com/Nerdy Mewzings. And in the meantime, everybody, keep it nerdy.